Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's consoles. Okay, even a Michael Jackson reference can't save this game from itself. As much as I wanted to love Dead Rising 2, there are just too many problems holding it back from greatness. The concept is seemingly foolproof. Let the player roam around malls and casinos in a Las Vegas-esque city, killing thousands of zombies along the way. Unfortunately, this game does everything in its power to ruin the fun. Not only have the complaints from the original Dead Rising been left intact, but the sequel manages to add many of its own. First of all, the visuals and the audio fail to impress across the board. The animations are stiff, the textures are lackluster, the character models look bland, and the frame rate is entirely unstable. There is a nice variety in the environments, and the visual style is appropriately cartoonish, but overall the game simply looks dated. The same can be said about the audio. There's nothing abysmal about the sound design, save for the dialogue, but nothing stands out much either. The music is fitting but generic, the sound effects are varied and get the job done, the voice actors are actually decent, but the dialogue is laughable for the most part. Like I said, nothing stands out as excellent. On a similar note, the story is a generic tale of a father named Chuck, and his daughter, and zombies. And she will turn into a zombie unless she takes her meds. And you are being framed for the zombie outbreak. And that's about it. As far as zombie tales go, Dead Rising 2 is not actually that bad. It could have been a lot worse, but it could have been much better as well. It can't seem to make up its mind about how seriously it wants to take itself. One minute you get a dramatic cutscene about activist groups and a dying daughter, the next minute Chuck is cracking jokes about a reporter's ass. Of course, you don't play a zombie game for the Oscar-worthy plot, and that's where the gameplay comes in. Killing zombies is fun. It's pretty much a fact of life. There are only a handful of things more satisfying than hitting a zombie in the face with a baseball bat. Luckily, this holds true in Dead Rising 2. Unfortunately, it doesn't hold true as long as I would have liked. If you played the original game, everything here will feel mostly familiar. You can still spit on zombies, still swing varying objects at them, and yes, there is still a time limit. I don't know if Capcom really thinks this is a good idea or if they just hate us, but the time limit is back and it's just as annoying as ever. Not only do you have a limited time to explore the game world and slaughter endless legions of zombies, but this mechanic also means that it is impossible to complete everything in one playthrough. You can do the story missions, but good luck finishing all the side missions as well. Or you can try to complete all the side missions, but oops, your daughter just turned into a flesh-eating monster. As obnoxious as the time limit is, it doesn't hold a candle to this game's horrendous save system. In order to save your game, you must locate a bathroom and then you can manually save. What is this, 1999? An autosave feature would have gone a long way for this game. It might not even be so bad if the bosses weren't so ridiculous. Unannounced to the player, a random boss fight may show up at any moment. Normally that'd be fine, but not when the bosses are insanely difficult to kill. Guns barely put a dent in them most of the time, and getting close is often suicide. So a terrible save system and random killer bosses? It's like all the game's flawed designs are working together to annoy you as much as possible. Now, I know it sounds like I absolutely hate this game, but that's not true. Like I said, I really wanted to love it. Sometimes the game I wanted to play shines through. Nothing beats cleaving zombies in half with a claymore or mowing down dozens of zombies, literally. If the game focused more on just pure exploration and zombie killing fun instead of timed missions and frustrating boss fights, this could have been a must-buy. Instead, it feels completely unpolished and just not very well thought out. It's like a Mac trying to play games. It's doing more than it has to, and the result is fun for a while, but ultimately unsatisfying and bothersome. The game can be played online with a friend, but the same basic problems persist over the internet. After a few hours of slot machines, zombies, more slot machines, and more zombies, it just loses its appeal. Once you've tried out all the interesting weapons, the zombies become more of a nuisance than anything else. It doesn't help that Chuck moves about as fast as a sloth. You'd think that thousands of angry zombies would be worrisome enough to, I don't know, run a little. Chuck doesn't even care if he's being eaten alive, as long as he looks stylish at the same time. There's also an online competitive mode based on the show Terror is Reality from the single player. It's a nice distraction with fun minigames sprinkled together, but it feels like a missed opportunity. Think of all the awesome modes you can come up with in a zombie game. Infection, King of the Victoria's Secret, Capture the Twinkie. Sadly, with the only reward being useless in-game money, there's little reason to continue playing online. I could go on and on about the little and not so little things that annoy me in Dead Rising 2, but I think you get the idea. It would make a decent weekend rental, but there's absolutely no way I can recommend a full price purchase. If they do make a third game, all I ask is that they take out the terrible mechanics, keep what works, and perhaps add Woody Harrelson and Emma Stone as playable characters. One can dream.